Hey everyone, it's N-Types, and I'm back with another tier list. This one will probably look very similar to last tier list, except it's kind of reversed. So we're again here on Trainer Hill, and today we're going to be looking at the decks and based on how fun they are to play against. So same decks as last time, hopefully, and hopefully it doesn't get messed up this time. I removed other, so that's good. And yeah, we'll just see how fun they are to play against. B is like average, S is like super fun to play against. Um, in some senses, this might be reversed, but a good deck, like a well-crafted deck from like game design perspective, will be good, fun to play against and fun to play with. So starting off with the Lost Zone decks, I'll do Lost Zone Radiant Charizard, regular Lost Zone, Gudra Lost Zone, and that's not Lost Zone, and Garki and Giratina, Lost Zone. There we go. I promise I know what I'm talking about. I promise I'm a pro here. Yeah. So I obviously not Lost Zone box. That's not a very fun deck to play against because of Sableye and Radiant Greninja and all this stuff. Yeah, it's not fun to play against because they just spread lots of damage. It's not fun. Um, unless you're a multi-prize, like a very big tanky deck, but even that's not super fun. Lost Zone, Radiant Charizards, whatever. I really don't think that's anywhere near as bad. They do have Sableye, but when not paired with Radiant Greninja, it's not as bad. They don't have as much power, and they have a bit more versatility, and the game's a bit more interesting. Gudra Lost Zone, again, not super fun to play against. None of their attackers are like cool to play against. Gudra's kind of annoying, and then of course Sableye, Radiant Greninja are annoying, and Zamazenta is also sometimes annoying. Cramorant's fine, I suppose, but like Gudra has a bit of an annoying deck. They often just sit there, and then all of a sudden they just wall, and it's not a very interesting back and forth game. Giratina Lost Zone, I'd actually say is alright as well. It's pretty interesting when they have like multi-prizers. I think it's more interesting than like the turbo fast single basic lost box. So I think that's all right. Then we'll move on to actually the other Arceus stack, the Giratina and the other Arceus stacks. We got Arceus. We'll get to this in a second. Um, so we got ourselves. I've lost we go. Okay, so we got regular Arceus, which I think is fun to play against. I think regular Arceus is a very fun deck to play against. It can be annoying if they're like walling you. That's like annoying. But aside from that, they're pretty cool because they have all these different aspects, and it's just a solid map. Honestly, I'm gonna put this deck in S tier. I think it's a fun deck to play against because you don't know exactly what's gonna happen. And they got some cool little techs, and they're all generally things that most decks can deal with. You need to be a little clever, but for the most part, just stay on your toes and you'll have a fun time. Arceus Giratina is not very interesting to play against. I think it's a very straightforward deck and it's a very boring deck. It's not one I enjoy playing. It's also not one I enjoy playing against. So I'd say I don't really like the deck too much. It's pretty boring. Arceus Duraludon also is not fun to play against because they wall you and you just don't do anything, or they don't do anything. But generally the games are super swingy and boring, so I don't like it. Occasionally they'll play. I guess I'll bump up to C because Umbreon, but I don't really love it. In the Charizard decks. The ones Arceus Charizard, Lost Zone Charizard, Charizard Glade, and regular Charizard. Regular Charizard is alright. I'll put in B. And I'll also put Lost Zone Charizard in B. I think it's alright. Charizard's a bit of an annoying attacker to have to deal with for some decks, but I think it's fair. And then I'm actually going to put Charizard Glade in A, and I'm going to drop Charizard Arceus down to C, because it's like so consistent, it's not fun like in the early game, and it doesn't really have too much versatility. But I'll put Charizard Glade in A. I feel like it's a bit of like a rogue deck. Oh, it's not like actually a rogue deck, and it's not that different, but it feels like a rogue deck, which just makes it feel more fun to play against. I'm gonna put it in A tier here. Jinpao. Honestly, no, I don't think many people like playing against this deck. They have spread, which is annoying. They can one-shot anything, which is annoying. And then you can just target down Excalibur, which just means the game stops. So then you just like win early, which isn't really fun either when the game isn't really playable for one of the players. So I don't think it's super fun. Um, Gardevoir. Gardevoir's alright. They have comebacks, but that kind of makes it exciting. That kind of makes it unfun if you're just winning the whole game and then boom, you've lost. But you get these big damage numbers flying around sometimes, and the Pokemon are always like low HP, so that's like nice. You can just KO them. Um, It allows you to show off your deck. Scudro usually doesn't pull out too many tricks, but not in an unfun way. Their turns can sometimes take a little long, but not usually. The biggest annoyance is them like accelerating the energy, but it's not a huge deal. Um, Next up, Miraidon Flaffy. I'll put an A. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a type of deck that's pretty straightforward. Actually, I'm gonna bump him down to B for the turn one donks. Those aren't really fun, but aside from that, they're like it's a pretty alright deck to play. Oh, they play Path too. Path's annoying, but yeah, they judge Path, and I'm gonna bump that down to C. It's not like the worst deck, it's a pretty straightforward deck, but not like in an awful way. But it's Judge Path isn't fun to play against. We got the Lugia decks. Lugia is. There, I was like, where's the other Lugia deck? I think Colorless Lugia is fun to play against. I'll put an S. It has, well, yeah, it doesn't burst too much crazy stuff onto the board. Obviously, you need to watch out for like Luxor and Radiant Charizard, but you kind of should know that they're coming. They're not super crazy. And then there's like Weirdier and there's like Snorlax, and that's about it. And Lugia, and so it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes they don't set up, but usually then they like you just kind of. I feel like when they don't set up, it's kind of more fun because you just kind of beat them. And then that logic doesn't really make much sense, but that's my thought. But yeah, it's like a pretty all right deck as well. And when it gets going, it's not like super crushing. The games are generally close, so I think it's solid. And single strike is A. It's fine. I'll put it in B. Like the damage to hits are so much sometimes. Well, actually no, most like decks are not three prizers. So if you're a three prizer, it's annoying for you, but very few decks are like that. So I'll put it in A because they have some big attackers, which can be a little annoying, but they're not too annoying. I think Duraludon, it can be annoying, but that's not usually played. Overall, it's a decently fun deck, but it's not as interesting either. I'll do the water decks now too. I'll do Palkia and Chimpao. Palkia, regular Palkia is just whatever. It's so boring. I'll just put in B. Nothing wrong with it, but it's fine. And then Palkia Chimpao is alright. Sometimes they got some cool little attacks. They got a V-Star power that they pop out once during the game, but they're not gonna like just destroy you in a like super toxic way. I suppose they could like wipe out your bench with Greninja. That's only once, and they're not going to probably put Canceling Plume, so you're all right. It's not anywhere near as annoying as Chimpao Excalibur. Just Palkia is a very honest attacker, I feel like, so that's fine. The Mew decks. I know, certainly I don't enjoy playing against Fusion Mew because they can just donk you, but then they're just so fast, the turns take so long, it's annoying. I don't really enjoy the other Mew deck either. It's just super boring. It's not as long the turns, but I just don't enjoy it. It's just not like fun. It's not awful because you can like kind of do what you want as well. They really give you all the options. They have like a three prize and a two prize in place, so you can target those, which you should be able to get something done on one of them. But it's not a particularly fun deck to play against. Inteleon Urshifu is weird. I'm honestly gonna put in B. I kind of enjoy playing against it, but also like it sometimes you just get like rolled over, right? Most of the time it's interesting. You get this interesting back and forth. I talked about with the deck that one player is pretty much always in the game, unless Urshifu and Inteleon or Inteleon Urshifu just like rolls when they're set up, but that doesn't happen too often. So I'd say the deck is a solid B tier. Alakazam is not fun to play against. Like, I'll put it in D. It's just so boring because they just sit there and they might not set up, or they do set up and then you're sad. It just, like, no, I don't really like playing against it. Then Snorlax, I think you know where this is going. Control is going to go in D. Sometimes it can be interesting, but not this build. They don't really do anything of interest at all throughout the entire game. Some of it's random, and it's not super fun. I like control, and I sometimes enjoy playing against regular control, but not this control. So that's gonna go in D tier. Spite Ops, same thing. Like Spite Ops sucks to play against. It's bad. Like it's not a good deck. It's a bad deck. So that kind of hurts it. Um, because you're just like suffering slowly, but you're probably gonna win, right? But there are some decks where you're just completely locked out as well. It's not fun. Blastoise is whatever. Like I really don't play against this deck very often. It's not a common one. As soon Zoroark, Student Zoroark's actually fun to play against because they like damage all their Pokemon, so you can like you don't need to do as much. There's this big damage, big hits going back and forth. It's pretty fun. And Zoroark box, they pull out some crazy stuff, which I'd say is fun. It's inconsistent, but it's fun to watch. I'll put in A. It's probably an A. Yeah, so here's my tier list. Actually, this video ended up being much shorter. I don't know why, but it was on how fun these decks are to play against. Tell me what you think about this down below in the description. Or in the comments, and not in the description. Check out the description though for something. I don't know if there's anything in the description. But oh, my voice. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. This one I'm definitely much less sure about than the how fun it is to play with tier list. I actually made one like that before, and I checked between the two, and they're pretty similar. Obviously, there are a number of new decks, but yeah, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. If you enjoy, consider subscribing. You can do it anytime, and it's free, and it supports me a ton. When I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I think I might do a small little giveaway. I was planning on doing that, but I'm not sure. I still plan on doing that. And then I plan on doing some other stuff, but I haven't decided yet. So comment down below ideas for that. Yeah, and I'm excited to see you next time.